Something has to be done. We have to take action.
Enough is enough. How the community plans to take action after several fights leave teenagers hospitalized, dead, and in jail.
A House spending bill will not include compensation for St. Louisans affected by nuclear waste contamination. The next steps to help victims in our region.
Temperatures in the low 70s today with a few more clouds, but it's the wind shift behind. How that's going to impact your evening and when we'll see a few showers enter the frame over the next few hours.
No Mo Rodeo. Why there won't be any arena shows at this year's Missouri State Fair.
Ready to spread your wings? Where you could see Eagles in action this weekend in the Metro.
This is Today in St. Louis, focused on you.
Good morning, everyone. It is Friday, March 22nd. I'm Michelle Lee.
Good morning, I'm Randy Knott. Let's get right to the top stories of the morning. If you're planning to use the Poplar Creek Bridge to get to and from the Metro East this weekend, prepare for some delays. Beginning at 9 o'clock tonight, IDOT will fully close eastbound I-55-64 for patchwork and resurfacing. They expect to reopen no later than 5 o'clock on Monday morning. Work will continue over the next 6 weeks. IDOT says it will only shut down one direction at a time.
This morning, the Francis House School Board has approved its new revised Black Studies courses. Last night's board meeting saw some heated discussion before that vote and even an attempt to postpone the approval. The revised coursework will take effect in the fall. And this morning, a roadblock in the push to help local victims of radiation contamination get federal funding.
The U.S. House left the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act out of its spending bill. Our Sydney Stallworth is live for us this morning in Hazelwood with the latest on the battle that's taking place in our nation's capital. Sydney?
Well, Rennie, Michelle, the Army Corps of Engineers still addressing radiation contamination here in North County. Crews are going to be spending the next 10 months just beyond this barrier here at the McDonald Bridge, removing soil that was contaminated from World War II bomb-making materials. Meanwhile, residents in this area and champions of the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act, or the RECA bill as we call it, are left wondering when they'll finally get help from the feds. Now, the RECA bill did pass the Senate earlier on this month, but the House decided yesterday not to include funding for it in the House spending bill. So here's a breakdown of what RECA actually says. The bill called on lawmakers to write St. Louis into the existing RECA law, extend the law's coverage by 5 years because it was set to expire this summer. And we do know that the bill may cost around $50 billion, but Missouri lawmakers argue the federal government should step up to cover the cost. Congresswoman Cori Bush and others are vowing to keep up this fight.
World War II is still killing people in my district. We were wronged by the federal government, and rather than taking responsibility to make it right, Congress couldn't spare a dime on this bipartisan issue.
Frustration crosses party lines. Congresswoman Ann Wagner released a statement saying, quote, "Time is of the essence, and I will continue to fight for any path forward to get this passed in the House." And in a post on X, Senator Josh Hawley, who spearheaded this bill, said in part, quote, "Politicians have talked like this for decades while doing nothing. The time to talk is over. The time to act is now. Put RECA on the floor and vote on it." In a statement yesterday, Congresswoman Cori Bush did say, quote, "The push to reauthorize RECA is far from over." She also told press that she'll push for a standalone vote for a measure in the House similar to the one that the Senate passed earlier on this month. Reporting live in Hazelwood, I'm Sydney Stallworth, 5 on your side.
6:35, your weather first forecast on this morning is less windy than it was yesterday. We also have a few clouds around, but they're still illuminating a nice backdrop as we should expect a nice sunrise. However, the differences are going to be the fact that we have much warmer conditions, but change is on the way. You can see some rain in far northwestern Missouri, but for the most part, we're going to see temperatures still above freezing, even in the low 40s in the city. Outside of the city, you can see where that warmer air mass settles in. That's going to be moving in as part of a warm front here that we kind of briefly get to enjoy before things cool down the rest of the day. 41 this morning, 66 by noon, low 70s this afternoon, but then the wind changes out of the northwest, and that's where we may see not only some rain, but temperature drop, of course. We'll talk about that, time that out, and how it's going to impact your weekend. But weather-wise on the roads, Paul, not too bad this morning. What's going on, my friend?
Well, road conditions perfect, like you said, but we do have a few incidents. This one in North County, 270 at Elizabeth. And yes, those aren't Christmas lights. It's really blocking that right lane as you be going westbound. So let's show you real quick how it looks on the big map. Yeah, there we are at Elizabeth, like I mentioned there, 270. And that would be maybe you're going to the airport, coming out of North County, maybe even from Illinois, could start to affect your commute. And then we also still have on the side of the road here, 44 westbound at Hampton. Both of our incidents going westbound, not where a lot of that volume goes east. We'll have another take of traffic minutes away. Rennie?
Fighting for access, why a North City Neighborhood Association invited Walgreens executives to its next meeting.
A recall at Starbucks ahead, the holiday item that's being pulled off the shelves, plus why it could pose a hazard.